Hey, friends! Well, it's election time here in the United States, and on YouTube and other places. No matter what they usually do, content creators just can't seem to keep the politics out of their mouths. They just can't seem to help themselves. And you know your old pal, Barkey. I don't do that stuff, because it's a huge turnoff, and nobody wants that crap from people who normally discuss Star Wars or gardening. Am I right? Ugh. But I do believe in elections and in voting, so this time, in keeping with the pending election, I have a political drama for you. One of my favorites. We're talking about The Best Man from 1964. Our story goes like this. A national political convention is underway, and the party has several men to choose from to make their candidate, who will, it is intimated very strongly, will win the presidency. The top two candidates are very different men. William Russell is our hero. He's a thinking man, well-read, and a man of principle. But he's slow to make decisions and won't cheat or lie his way to power. Joe Cantwell, by comparison, is a young firebrand whose first instinct in anything is to go hardball. He's kind of a cross between Senator McCarthy and Richard Nixon. Both men need the endorsement of the former president, now a party elder, but he doesn't say which way he'll go, and he's dying. He's worried about what comes next. Cantwell gets some dirt on Russell, a psychiatrist's report diagnosing him as a manic depressive, and Russell's team also gets some dirt on Cantwell, involving possible lavender behavior when he was in the service. Cantwell is all too eager to use what he has, while Russell agonizes over getting down in the mud and sacrificing his principles. Does Russell use the dirt on Cantwell or not? Who deserves to become the best man? What we see over the course of the film is how the delegates are lined up between the two factions, the wheeling and the dealing to see which man will become the party's nominee. Being made in 1964, the issue of integration is one of the main sticking points for some of the delegates, as is the issue of communist infiltration into America. In our cast, we have Henry Fonda as Russell and Cliff Robertson as Cantwell. Both are excellent in their respective roles. Edie Adams plays Cantwell's young wife, and Margaret Leighton plays Mrs. Russell. You'll spot Ann Southern as a sort of annoying, gossipy, wannabe kingmaker, reminiscent of Luella Parsons or Hedda Hopper, this character's Hollywood counterparts. Gene Raymond plays Cantwell's brother and campaign manager. Shelley Berman from Curb Your Enthusiasm, among many other things, plays the man who says he has dirt on Cantwell. Mahalia Jackson sings a bit, and Howard K. Smith, a legitimate TV newsman, is seen giving convention commentary for a TV network. He later appeared in the sci-fi miniseries V, reporting on the progress of the resistance against the visitor invasion. Joy Lansing, who we last saw recently in Hillbillies in a Haunted House, she cameos at a poolside gathering. And this lady, who plays a cleaning woman at the hotel, is essayed by Marie Blake, who also went under the name Blossom Rock, and who you may best know as Grandmama on The Addams Family. And finally, we have Lee Tracy as the former president, Art Hochstetter. Tracy originated the role of Hochstetter in the Broadway play the film is based on, and his performance in this film earned him his only Oscar nomination in his long-running career. Tracy often played press agents and fast-talking reporters. In fact, he was the first actor to play Hildy Johnson in The Front Page. He appeared in Bombshell and Dinner at 8, both with Jean Harlow. Clear All Wires, Turn Back the Clock, that's an interesting one. the Lemon Drop Kid, and all kinds of things, including one of my favorites, Dr. X, a two-strip Technicolor horror movie from 1932 that co-starred Lionel Atwill and Fay Wray. His turn here in The Best Man was his final screen role. The Broadway play the movie is based on was written by Gore Vidal, and it was a big success. He also wrote the screenplay for the movie. He later said Russell was based on Adlai Stevenson and Cantwell on Richard Nixon, despite the two being in different parties. Frank Capra was suggested to direct, and Gore was vehemently opposed to that, feeling Capra was too conservative and sentimentalist to do the film justice. Eventually, he won out, and they hired Franklin J. Schaffner. Schaffner went on to direct The Planet of the Apes, Patton, and The Boys from Brazil. Here, he brings a documentary style to the proceedings, aided by the black and white cinematography. The filmmakers needed recent footage of a political convention, showing the crowds on the convention floor along with the placards for each state's delegation and all of that. So they used some newsreel footage from a Democratic National Convention. I think they used the 1964 one, might be the 1961, I don't know. But anyway, as a result, there are a few blink and you'll miss it frames where you see some of the signage for the party's convention. But that wasn't intentional. In fact, in the print I have, they blur one out in a painfully obvious way. See, there was once this convention, no pun intended, that unless the story was a biography or something, fictional political films never mentioned a given party by name. So instead of Democratic or Republican, the party is simply referred to in a neutral way as the party. And that was enough to convey what was going on without ticking people off. And that's what you see them do here. Advise and Consent from 1962 is another film set in the world of high office politics, one that also starred Henry Fonda and has an all-star cast. And it also has a few similar elements to this film, such as a scandal and a dying presidential figure. That's a great film too, and worth screening together with The Best Man as a movie pair. Just screen both back to back. As I say, I've always liked this picture. I don't know why, but I always felt this film was lesser known. Nobody talks about it, which is a shame. It has a fine cast and an unexpected twist at the end. You get to see how an old-school political convention works, and in the final confrontation between the two men, the words coming out of their mouths you could easily hear coming out of the mouths of the candidates today. I admit, I'm a little biased on this one, but I'm giving The Best Man 4 paws up. It's well worth a watch. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.